Good afternoon and welcome to the 2026 AGM. Thank you very much for coming. My name's Alan and I'm now going to ask all the board members here to announce who they are and the role they do so that everyone knows who they are.
Good afternoon, hopefully this is working. I'm Andrew Lambert, I'm currently Assistant Treasurer but standing to be elected as Treasurer at this meeting.
I'm Ian Harper, I am the Treasurer at the moment and I should be handing over to Andrew.
Mike Royley, Company Secretary-elect, subject to your good selves of course.
Alan Regan, I'm liaison with Warners and will become a director during the course of this meeting subject to you voting me in. Tom Roden, the Membership Secretary.
Good afternoon, Mark Rennie, I'm the Motti organiser. Apologies, I may have to dip out early, but thank you very much.
I'm Harry Jones, Bulletin Editor. Andrew Mountfield, outgoing Company Secretary.
Jonathan Mead, 16 Mil Today Editor.
Rick Turnock, Show Director.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you for that, gentlemen. Okay, so let's get started. Introductions were done. Any apologies for absence?
I have two, Chairman, David Rhodes and Keith Buckland.
Thank you very much. Minutes of the last AGM previously circulated. We need those. Anyone got any comments from those? We need to have those approved, don't we? Yes. So can I have someone to propose? Thank you, Andy. A seconder?
Docker 3552.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I didn't catch the name. Mike Docker. I shouldn't have.
Easy.
Did you want to repeat it there, Mike?
Okay, so on to the Director's report. Any comments? Miss, just... Okay, sorry, yeah, be able to say. Have a show of hands, all in favour of accepting the minutes as they were. Lovely, thank you very much.
Any against? No.
Okay. The Director's report, which again is in the pack. Any comments? Any questions anyone want to ask? No? Okay. Can I have a proposal that accept they are accurate and whatever? Somebody needs someone to propose it? Yeah. And a seconder, please.
Alan Denny 6868.
Thank you very much. And a show of hands, everyone happy with those as they are? Thank you very much. Anyone against? Lovely. Okay, on to the accounts. So, you can read all this, so this is all in there. So we've got the subscription income 75,000, which is slightly up on last year. Show income 41,000, which was down on last year. Cost of sales slightly down. Open stock. Sorry, that's the open stock. Sorry, is slightly down. The publishing and printing costs, postage, went up. Obviously, inflation. Show costs went down. We really tried last year, as you're well aware, to try and cut the cost. Last year we tried to go it alone for the last time. We cut the cost down as much as possible. We didn't get the numbers, hence that's why we had to go into the partnership with Warners. So we made a good effort there to keep the cost down as much as we could, but still made a loss. Closing stock was we managed to clear some of that. So the gross deficit is 2,000. Last year there was a slight profit, and then other income was just the deposit account interest. Okay, moving. Any questions on that? No, moving on. So here's the expenditure for the year. So insurance slightly down, which is interesting. Postage and stationery, that's for the association. Advertising costs went up slightly, as you appreciate. Travel and subsistence, quite a substantial reduction there. As you know, we meet online as opposed to having face-to-face meetings, which we used to do in King's Cross, and we cut back the expenditure for the time we spend here at the show. So again, the board tried to lead by example as cutting the costs as much as we can. Repairs and renewals, they went down, thankfully. Web expenses equally went down, but they're still roughly around the same. Accountancy is roughly the same. So there's the total expenditure for the year. And bank charges, no bank charges. Any questions on any of that? No? Oh, yes, Mike.
Just the bottom line, the bad debt, has that been written off, I guess?
I'll pass it to Andrew.
Do you want to use some microphones so people can hear?
It will have been written off. I don't honestly know what the £109 is, but yeah.
Thank you.
So the brought forward loss 19,000, and then putting in the depreciation there means that there was a net deficit for the year. We've lost £20,000, which we obviously knew some of that, which again, hence why we had to make the decision about the ongoing thing for the show. That's why we're here. So here's just some quick highlights from there. The cost of sales decreased by just over 1.9 thousand. Travel and subsistence went down by 900. Show income went down by nearly 11,000. Publishing costs increased, and this was in main due to publishing the Talathin Guide. Some people said, why didn't we do an online version? We did have, the board did discuss this, and it was felt that previous editions had all been done in a hard copy, and that the membership would appreciate the same. So that's why we took the decision to print it out as opposed to doing an online one. Hopefully that's the right decision. Yes? Okay, and we have sold some as well, so we'll, yeah, so apart from giving it away, we have sold some copies. And then, as we know, last year there was a shortfall in footfall. Interesting to see what the numbers are this year, but hopefully it's more than last year, but last year there was a shortfall, which is why we made a loss. Simple as that. Going on to the balance sheet. Sorry, yeah. Yep. What do we get? Show income down by nearly 11. Right. Okay. So, balance sheet, nearly 2,000 intangible assets, stocks, and then debtors, cash in the bank gives a total of 61, but then from that, creditors falling due within the year, over 20,000. So the net assets, although the minus off the figure from the previous year, so we end up down as a 42,000 as our balance of our assets at the moment. Stock, so this is a breakdown. So the stock consists mostly of guides the association has published, and debtors, trade debtors, prepayments where we've paid ahead for things, and accrued income, and then we've got creditors falling due 20,000, and accruals and deferred income still to come in. That's the accounts. Any questions? You're going to get away with it, Andrew. You're going to get away with it. Yes.
Thank you. I'm
slightly confused. We appeared to have lost less money on the show than we had the previous year, but we did have the Southampton magazine. The figures we seem to be worse off this year than we were even taking those into account. I'm obviously missing something, but I'm not quite sure what I'm missing.
Yep, please, yeah.
Thanks, Mike. So last year the loss was 18,000. We didn't publish a guide. In 25, the accounting loss was 20, but half of that was due to the titling guide. So the sort of business as usual operating loss has gone from 18 to 10, so we've nearly halved it.
Right.
So if we didn't do anything else in 26, we might potentially have a loss of 10. Now I think everything moves around, and clearly the board is going to focus on making sure we haven't got another loss, and we shouldn't have a loss from the show now that Warner's managing it. So I think that our sort of trading position has improved, but we took the decision to spend money out of reserves on publishing the guide, and that was discussed last year, and we agreed it was the right thing to do. But yeah, to some extent it's that sort of accounting position that shows that the bottom line has got worse, but it's because we consciously spent half of that on the titling guide.
So okay, yeah. So overall, it was better because we can actually not justify, but we can account for the losses. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I can use my quarter-deck voice if you like.
Please, carry on.
Christopher Riley, 6141. I'd just like to thank you very much for the titling guide. I know we've been talking about it in the context of costs. I certainly would support anything like that being published as a hard copy. I'm never going to go back to something like that. It's on my system somewhere. I will skim it and it will be lost to the memory. But if it's there available as a hard copy, it's going to be referred to and enjoyed. So thank you, and please consider continuing it.
Thank you. I think that was what we perceived, that everyone's reaction to the you just echoed that, so thank you very much for that. So yes, it's all very nice having the digital thing where we've got to dive in and find it, and actually going to the shelf, picking something tangible up is it's what a lot of people enjoy. Okay. Resolutions and election of directors. We need to write accounts. Sorry, yes, I think I missed. Right, so we need a proposer to approve the accounts, please. Yes, sir. And a seconder, please. Mike Docker.
Sorry, say again.
Mike Docker. And all those in favour of approving the accounts? Thank you very much. Anyone against? No? Lovely. Thank you. Okay, on to election of officers. So there's some people standing down, and we've had a couple of, not last year, the year before, we had a couple of times where we didn't have enough directors at a board meeting, so we've increased the number, and we want to keep it at that number so we can always make appropriate decisions at the right time. So the first resolution we've already done, that's the thing. So the second ordinary resolution is to elect Alan Regan as a director. Now, have we got some proxy votes on this, or we?
Hang on, can we do them in the order they're printed?
Okay, right. Oh, I've got the wrong one, sorry. I'm working with a different one. They are changed. Okay, Andrew Lambert. So need someone to propose that we accept Andrew as a director. Mike Docker. Second, yeah. Andy Belcher. Thank you. Andrew, you are a junior. Second one is...
Was that unanimous?
So everyone agrees with that? Show of hands, please. Yes, unanimous. Anyone against? No. Okay. Rebecca Lockley. Rebecca's not here. She's doing end-to-end, doing a sterling job over there. So yes, we need a proposer to elect, thank you, Andy Belcher. Someone to second? That's Alan, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Anyone against? Lovely, we'll pass on the good news afterwards. And then, come to Alan Regan. Someone to propose, Alan, okay, Andy, yeah. And gentleman at the back?
Marnie, 5537.
Thank you very much. All those in favour? Anyone against? No? Carried unanimous, thank you. Welcome back, Alan. Mark Rennie. There he is. Wake up. Someone to propose Mark Rennie as a director. Oh, Andy again, and gentleman down in the front, second.
George, 4251.
All those in favour? Thank you. Anyone against? No? Mark, well done. And then additional resolutions which were decided by the board on the 28th of March. Ordinary resolution to elect Andy Belcher as a director. So, who's going to be first? Alan Regan first, and then Mike second. Okay. All those in favour? Lovely. Anyone against? Turn around, Andy. You can't look at them. That's intimidation. Lovely. Welcome, Andy. And then, lastly, Mike Riley to be elected as a director. That hand shot straight up. Andy Belcher, thank you very much. Any seconder? And Alan Regan again, thank you very much. All those in favour? Lovely, thank you. Anyone against? No? Lovely, thank you very much. On to the appointment of appeals panel. So ordinary resolution that David Rhodes, Tag Gordon.
Chair, I need to just point out
Please.
with Andy's election to the board, he obviously now can't stand on.
I was, yes, I put it down there, yes.
There is a vacancy.
Andy's removed himself. Oh, so there's a, okay.
He's had correspondence with us, so we're just doing that.
Yes, that's fine. So there's a vacancy, so if somebody, I can't remember the last time the appeals panel met, but it's never happened, okay.
So it is a very onerous job.
Yeah, so if you want a job where you'll do nothing, hopefully, please come and see us. But anyway, resolution that David Rhodes, Tag Gordon, Ray Castle, Andrew Walker, John Walker Smith, be reappointed, and Alan Hargreaves be reappointed as the appeals panel. Any other proposer, please? Somebody? Andy, yay, he's rocky. Thank you. And the seconder, please. Yes, Mike Docker again, thank you very much. Mike Docker.
Right, thank you, Mike.
All those in favour? Show of hands, thank you very much. Anyone against? No, lovely, thank you very much. Appointment of accountants, that Messrs Maynard Johns, Chartered Accountants, be reappointed for the current financial year. Proposer, please.
May I just ask a question that fits in okay with your domicile location, is it?
Well, it might not, but I think rather than make a change now, I'm going to work with them over the next 12 months and just see whether it works.
All right, I'm sure you'll take.
Okay, right, sorry, the proposer was Andy Belcher, thank you. Seconder, please. Anna Regan, sorry. Yeah, thank you very much. All those in favour? Thank you. And anyone against? No. Lovely. So they are the resolutions carried forward. Thank you very much. Board and officer positions. So just to let you know, we are, Rick and we are looking for an assistant show director for next year. So if someone would like to work alongside Rick, learn the job, help, there's a great deal. Rick, do you want to sell it to them? Do you want to sell it to them?
I tried to do this last year.
It would help greatly to have someone to share the load with. Alan and I have done it very much as a partnership this year, but Alan is moving on to other things. We've established a good working relationship with Warners. They are a good team. But yes, it would be very helpful. Luckily, Chris Nobbs has taken over as the stewarding coordinator, and he's done a fantastic job. There are some things that we're going to improve upon, and when we reflect on what's happened today, but any help will be gratefully received. As much on the pre-preparation for the show, but also on the day, because there's a lot of sort of walking around firefighting stuff, and it does take 2 or 3 of us to be able to keep on top of that. So if anybody would like to help with the show, we'd be gratefully received. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next one is on behalf of Richard, who's... sorry.
I'd just like to say Chris Nobbs has stepped up to being stewarding coordinator. I cannot believe how quickly he's hit the ground running. He's done an absolutely fantastic job. He's not here, but I would like to record the fact that...
Thank you.
I
did say very much to him face-to-face earlier on in front of his girlfriend, and he actually blushed. And I think that he's going to use her to help. She's a project manager by profession. So I might just say, come and be the assistant director.
Subtle. Sorry, yes, Mike.
Just for clarification, if we it would appear that no one is actually putting their hand up to work alongside as assistant show director.
No.
Does the Constitution allow someone to be cherry-picked nearer the time anyway? So it's not a problem not doing it today?
Oh, no. If someone wants to think about it and go, yes, reflection, and after much arm twisting and dubious gifts of whiskey to twist your arm. Yeah. No, if you wanted to think about it and come back to us by all means. Yeah. Happy.
It's because you're not a director on the board, it's an officer. So you don't need election per se. If there were 2 people who wanted to do it, then we'd have to have some sort of process.
You should be still looking.
And a job shared is a job hard, but it just makes it a lot easier and fun. So thank you.
Thanks for the clarification.
I'm going to thank you. Richard is not here; he's outside on the M2M. But we could really do with someone. If anyone here has some IT skills, could really do with someone to help. So if it's not you, but you know someone that's out there that would be willing, we could really, you'll see, you know what a website's like and the stuff that we've done, and a lot of that's down to Richard, if not all of it. And it's all on one person. And so having someone to help will share the workload. So if you've got some necessary skills, please come and grab us afterwards. And then Membership Secretary, Tom, do you want to say a few words about your...
Yeah, so I was initially indicated sort of stepping down probably at the end of the 2026-27 of membership year, I still got those wrong, so February next year. That's mainly due to pressures of work. There might be some flexibility in that. I was re-elected at the AGM last year, so I would be in the first year now of my next 3-year term, so we'll be due for re-election again at the 2028 AGM. We've had a few changes in the way that Warners are going to handle our magazines, in that they've closed their storage facility. So we're now taking that in-house, and that's going to lead to some changes to that part of the role. That's probably one of the sort of regulars in weekly things that was taking up time, and pressures of work and pressures at home, etc. are starting to run out of time. Given that's happened now, I might be able to push whereas before I was saying next year, push that into 2028. I don't want to say definitely, because if I sit here and say, I'm going to do this for another 2 years, it makes it sound like there's no urgency to get anyone else. But certainly I wouldn't, as things stand, I wouldn't be looking to Yeah, so if anyone is interested or knows anyone who may be interested. So yeah, if anyone could be interested or knows who is interested, please do ask them to get in touch with me and we can go through what's involved. As I'm sure you all know, Alan was my predecessor, so there's spreadsheets galore and full details of what to do. You know, nothing was left to chance, so it's all properly documented and happily to talk through it with anyone. Thank you.
And again, I'm sure that Tom would be happy to have someone to work alongside him to learn the ropes, and so a gradual takeover, which would make it nice and easy for whoever stepped into that role. You wouldn't be on your own. You'd have someone to work alongside for a year, possibly two, until you could take over by yourself. So again, job sharing makes things a lot easier. Okay, thank you. And stepping down, I'm first on the list. So it's been a pleasure to work with this fantastic board on behalf of all of you for the last 4 years, but unfortunately work commitments this year have started to take a lot more of my time, and so I took the decision earlier in the year. Told the board that I'd be stepping down, so this will be my last official day as chairman. I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to be in this position, look after you for these 4 years, and for the wonderful support of the board of directors. It's been a privilege and a pleasure, so thank you for that. Second one is Andrew, right at the end there, who is stepping down as secretary. It's been great working with you, Andrew, and I thank you very much for your time and your support and all the stuff that you've done for the board, so thank you. Further appreciation, show of appreciation. And lastly, Chris Trotman, who couldn't be with us today, has decided to step down as the technical director. I won't go into the reasons, but so he's decided. So I know this is being videoed, so if we could have a show of appreciation for the work that we've done. Over to you. Any questions, please? Mike.
They've killed the microphone, Mike, but I'll grab that.
No, sorry.
Yeah, me again. I'm sure everyone in this room is far more organised and does all their raffle tickets at home in their own time before they get here. But people like me and the people who just come for the day spend an inordinately long length of time filling out your name, either address or phone number, and membership number if appropriate, 12 times. And it has to be done. And it takes ages and you get hand cramp. Can we look at raising the individual price of the raffle tickets above £1, please?
We can have a look at that. That's the.
I did see one lady seemingly do the raffle for the first time today and only bought one ticket from out. And I think a lot of people just go, right, I've got this change in my pocket, I'll get a ticket. Or I can get 4 tickets, or then I'll go to that much. If you raise the single ticket price, you'll get less people getting the lower amount of tickets. What I will say is, surely you can just put your membership number down. It doesn't have to be your whole, it's just so we can contact.
Cleanly identifiable, it's you.
Well, I did what was said on the thing. Name, mobile, membership.
Thank you very much. Okay.
But so I get what you're saying, that someone would just buy one for £1 rather than anything greater. But in general, if we scrap that idea, how much would we actually lose? And would we, if we said had 3 for 15 to take it up from the 12, just, I don't know, I'm just tossing ideas really.
Yes.
Like what we do is we look at the wording on the ticket.
Yeah.
So that it's more clearer that you can just put your membership number, provided, as Mike says, it's put there clearly. And writing that quota or whatever number of times will be easier than all the rest. And maybe the artwork for the ticket is something that's in our kit, something that George Shepherd sent us to print and I'm sure we can look at that.
Yeah.
Thank you for your feedback.
Okay, anyway, thank you, yeah.
Any other questions?
We have 21 months that we saw on boiler policy.
Right.
Do you want to do it any other business?
Yeah. Well, yeah, do it now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have the microphone. I'll make this. So Tony Wilmore, some of you may know him. Tony Wilmore has written to the board, and his subject is the wording used in the boiler policy. And what I've agreed is that I'll briefly read out what he's written to us as a group, and then Alan Reagan and Andy Belcher, you want to come up here, will reply. So I'm going to be as quick as I can. In your role as Company Secretary, I hope I'm sending this to discussion topic to the correct person. Well, here we are. Situation occurred within my loco maintenance business last year that caused me to refer to the 2018 boiler test code, as published on the Association's website. The nature of the problem is irrelevant, but this was the first occasion that I had to refer to the code in detail. One thing that struck me immediately, the use of the word should.
That's a legal term.
And
shall legal terms.
So should is defined in Volume 1, Section 3.1. 3.1, shall is mandatory, should is advisory. Note that differentiation, writes Tony. Let us look at a non-exhaustive list of some examples of how should is used in this document. So I'm simply going to say one or two of them. He's listed quite a few. 3.13e, the boiler owner user should safely keep the written scheme of examination with the other boiler paperwork. 4.4, stainless etc. boilers. Owners or users of such boilers should seek the services of professional or commercial testing organisation. And so it goes on. Then he quotes Volume 2, 10.2, test procedure. The test should be carried out in a quiet environment in order that sounds can be detected. 10.3, any faults detected should be rectified before increasing the pressure. Note the use of the word should, and so on and so forth. And Tony summarizes this by saying, in my view, all of these should be shall and not should. And he closes by asking this to be discussed at the AGM. So I'll pass on to...
Can everybody hear me? I hope you can, yeah, you can all hear me, I'm sure. Can I remind the meeting of the creation of these codes? A group comprising GIMRA, the Model Boat Association, the Association of 16mm narrow gauge modelers, the Northern Federation as it existed at the time, the Southern Federation, 7 1/4, the 10 1/2, that there were a whole group of bodies that sent a representative to a meeting organised by the Model Engineering Liaison Group in an attempt to gain common ground on boiler test codes for small to large miniature model locomotives. It started meeting in summer 2016. It completed its deliberations in January 2018, and the codes were issued in March 2018. I'm telling you that because it was over that period we had between 8 and 10 meetings, and it took a long time for us to agree the wording of the codes. The first code that Tony's submission talks about is the code that applies to the boilers over 3 bar litre. Yeah. Ours, as you know, are for the most part below 3 bar litre. That's what volume 2 of the codes applies to. And volume 3 doesn't mention that in his submission, but that is for gas tanks. Those codes have served all of those bodies well for the past 8 years. And this is the first time that, to my knowledge, anybody's questioned the use of should and shall. We vest a certain amount of common sense and flexibility in our boiler testers, and there are certain things that we might like an owner to do, but we can't make that owner do. Hence, in some cases, the use of one word rather than the other. However, it's not for this meeting to decide whether those words should be changed unless the meeting wants to move away from the common ground that was established in 2018. In my view, that would be a retrograde step, because there are groups that run at model engineering facilities. So the York area group is an example. We've got much grumbling from the Guildford model engineers. If you go and look at their stand, they've got Guildford model engineers up above that. I was talking to the Gauge 1 layout, Anglia Roads, and they also run at and are part of the Ipswich model engineers. And so I think that demonstrates that there is a close link between the various limbs of the model steam hobby, and having a single set of codes that we all observe is a good thing. But my point is that if the meeting wants to change those words, and as Andrew has pointed out, it's not an exhaustive list, then de facto it moves away from the common ground that has served us well for the past 8 years.
Can I add something more to that, please? I'd like to point out that while we're all signed up to MELG, the Model Engineers Liaison Group, and so many other people are, we are also signed up to, well, also is the insurance companies. Now, the thing about the codes, especially the 2018 code, it complies with the safety, PSSR, Pressure System Safety Regulations 2000, which is overseen by the Health and Safety Executive. Because of that, then all insurance companies who deal with the insurance of our boilers and our railway systems are all happy about the condition of the engines we run. If we start thinking about going away from that, not only will we be away from the PSSR 2000, which will then have HSE running after us, well, all of our how is it the, what's the word? No, it's the written scheme. Right, all the written schemes that back our boiler certificates will be void, so all of our certificates will be void, and they'll be void everywhere else as well. So there'll be no opportunity to cross over into running in any other environment. So it's, you know, this sort of thing, it's an ideal situation where we think, oh, that'd be lovely, we just change a few words. It changes so much more. So from my perspective, and I'm being, you've elected me as director, I'm taking over as a technical director, and my job at work is to apply the law. So when I look at these things, I can see a much wider consequence. So I would say we don't go near changing any wording without reference to the whole body that wrote these codes.
Mike.
Can we try without the mic? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right, okay. All right.
Right, okay. I was going to question until Andy just suggested that it was possible to go back to the overall body, the 11 different organisations, however many it was. I didn't know that that as a group was still in existence. Apparently it is. So as someone in our neck of the woods, if you like, has raised it as opposed to a 5-inch guy or whatever, I would have thought that, because I don't know Johnny Wilmore, I know the name but I don't know him, but what he said made sense to me, because there is an option if you say should. There isn't if you say shall, and I think the intention was that it's got to be done. You don't have a choice, it's got to be. And if that is the case, then I think the wording does need to be changed, but not by us as a separate section. I think it needs to be fed back. And I would like to propose that as an organisation, we feed it back to the overall body for further discussion and clarification.
Okay, so hopefully you can hear me. The Model Engineering Liaison Group, to the best of my knowledge, and I was the association's representative on it, so nominally I'm still the contact point. It has not met in person since those codes were produced. So the first thing we would need to do is get the attention of and get the agreement of that body to meet. The second thing is some of the things that Tony has highlighted are for the owner. We can't make owners do anything. Some of the things that we want a boiler inspector to do or want to happen at test, we can make those things happen. And the third thing is those codes were developed from codes that already existed, and some of the wording, the shoulds, the shalls, etc., was taken forward from what was there in the first place. We could ask MELG to meet again. We could explain why, but we will be asked, why are we doing this now? Why didn't we do it then? Why has it taken 8 years for this to come to the fore?
But it's taken, no one else has picked it up, so if you like, everyone is guilty. We're no more guilty than anyone else.
I'm not really saying that. I'm saying,
if it wasn't a problem before, why is it a problem?
If it hasn't been a problem for the past 8 years, why has it suddenly become a problem now? And don't underestimate the amount of work that it will be to get this change. And so I'm just asking whether the effort is worth whatever the perceived risk is of somebody having an option about doing something instead of just trying to make them do it. Bearing in mind, in some cases, we can't make people do what they don't want to do.
Pass that way.
Simon Lewis, 2297. We've got to give Tony Wilmore a reply. We deserve to give him a reply. So I suggest that rather than getting all these organisations together, we get our technical director to review exactly what he said and to respond, much as Alan has explained, as to why we believe it is written in that way, and take it from there. He deserves a reply. We've got to reply to him. So we've got to take a position, but that's not going to be decided in a meeting like this.
I don't think there's any question that we won't reply.
No, but we need to reply constructively, taking him seriously, because he's raised something with it.
Tony will be expecting a reply. Don't get me wrong about that. So we will get a reply. And the reply, we wrote to the company secretary. The reply should come from the company secretary. But the company secretary chooses to advise him to review that responses, another matter will be quite well taken. So I think to the company secretary is from the company secretary.
But we could have a resolution, the technical director reviews this and responds and gets a reply drafted for the board to approve, if you like, to go back to Tony Wilmore to explain why we think it's like that.
I've already written in my notes, me to respond to Tony, Alan Regan, Annie Belcher to comment on draft, and then I've got discussion that came. So
I think that's fine. Yeah. I don't think we need to trouble ourselves anymore.
No,
this
that's
meeting.
fine. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, the upshot that will be addressed. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Yes. Sorry.
Because of the nature of the issue,
Right.
We should have a vote that says, does the board agree with what Mike has just outlined?
Okay.
there's a meeting.
There's a meeting. Right. So Simon's suggestion there, which Mike has just outlined, is everyone happy with that approach? So have a show of hands, please. You happy for us? Okay. Anyone against? No. Okay. Thank you.
Perhaps a little mention in SMT as a reminder to members.
Sorry?
Perhaps a little mention in SMT as a reminder to members. Sorry, the bulletin perhaps.
If I'm sure the new technical director will send me a draft of
Okay. Thank you.
I just wondered, a bit of clarification of actually who this gentleman is. I don't know. Is he just an ordinary member, or has he got some specialist knowledge?
He is the owner and the business owner of Ross Herring Works. I believe that he's now retired. I hope I'm not wrong about that. I think he's retired and continues clearly to do a small amount of work and has been a supplier, if you like, therefore, to the Bobby Group many, many years.
Any other questions?
If I just remind the meeting, you know, if you look on the association website, there is instructions how to do your annual test. There is a video that myself and Rod spent a fun-filled down a very cold, utterly building, filming it. So it's not onerous, it's all there for you to do. Yes, if you've got a large number of logos, as some of us have, it's a day's work spent, but it's probably not a bad day's work done, because it forces you to not only carry out an active steam test and more, but it's to check everything else around your logo. So the close look that you probably don't have when you're keen to get it fired up in your first run of the day at the club. So, you know, have a look on there. It is there, and it's not hard to do.
Yes. Please do.
Presumably this is only an issue if there's a claim.
Can you put the mic nearer?
Sorry, yeah.
If there's a claim made on the insurance?
It may become an issue that could be questioned, but as most of it is non-compulsory, the insurer would have grounds for claim. So
That's
it
what
shouldn't be an issue in terms of the validation of the claim. But where it is restricted, then it could be.
I think that was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
If it's changed to shall from should, and there is a claim, and the person hasn't done that specific thing, then they won't pay it. But if it's should,
It could be a reason to not pay this claim. The way we are drafting the plan leaves it splendidly open and was clear with the main insurer, Mitchellis. and therefore puts us in a strong position and puts you guys in a strong position should you have a failure. And bear in mind, it's a bit old hat now, but maybe 10 years ago, some guys in Australia built some small boilers and then deliberately tested them to destruction and recorded it all. And it's actually ridiculous the amount of pressure you have to get up to actually destroy a boiler if it's properly manufactured or properly made in your own workshop. So the likelihood of a boiler explosion and injuring people is very remote. Any of you heard of one?
I was going to say, presumably claims are fairly remote as well.
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing in modern steam that happened was the dreadful accident of the Gauge 1 boys at Ruddington, which was dreadful. But that wasn't a boiler explosion, that was a chemical fire.
So that seems to me to be a good reason not to change the wording.
I think there was a lot of time and effort and expertise that went into those codes, and those words were probably chosen quite wisely.
The thing is, the person that chaired NELG at the time was from Walker Nickel, insurer. So right from the get-go, we were creating something that he was able to validate that he was sure that could be comfortable. Now, that's 8 years ago. I suspect that Tony Bond retired, but he was the person who chaired the meetings, and he was from the insurer.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? No. Okay. Oh.
Alan, you have thanked everyone else for their time on the board.
I have.
Quite rightly. I would like to thank you.
Yes. Thanks very much. Okay, in that case, I officially close this year's AGM. Thank you very much indeed for coming, and go out and enjoy the rest of the show, and see you next year. Thank you very much.